Hi, I'm Rebecca with Cherish Children Ministries. Welcome back to my channel. There is a free live webinar coming up. If you want to click the link below, I will see you there. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Asymmetrical Tonic Neck Reflex, what it is, how to assess your child to see if the reflex is still present, and exercise to help the reflex become retained if it is not. So the Asymmetrical Tonic Neck Reflex, just like the spinal gallant reflex, actually helps the infant do their part of emergence through the birth canal and then learn hand and eye control. You will notice in an infant, if you gingerly turn their head to one side, the arm and the leg on the same side are going to straighten, while the arm and leg on the opposite side flex. The asymmetrical tonic neck reflex develops at about 18 weeks after conception, and it should really be integrated and completely gone by about 6 months after birth. If it's not, it can actually cause motor issues, reading issues, math problems, and other learning disabilities. The connection between the hand and the eyes actually help develop depth perception and eye-hand coordination. If the ATNR is retained, the child will actually have difficulty walking normally when turning his head, or problems writing and reading when the head movement is needed, which your head movement is always needed. So they're going to have issues whenever they are looking back and forth to a board or a book or whoever is speaking. Symptoms of an asymmetrical tonic neck reflex retention are these. Children will have reading difficulties, have a difficult time with hand and eye coordination. They'll have an awkward gait. They will have difficulty in school and immature handwriting. They will have difficulty in sports and math and reading problems. Their balance will not be very good either. And they will have an opposite dominance with eye, ear, foot, and hand. So they might be right-handed, left-footed, or right-eyed, left-footed, or right-handed, left-eyed, some type of combination like that. They will also have difficulty in different activities that require crossing over the midline of the body. They'll have poor depth perception in their shoulder and their neck and their hip will give them problems. Now remember, even if they don't display any of these symptoms, it really is a good idea to go ahead and do the quick assessment on the child, because there might be other functions that are affected by it that are just still unknown. I'm going to share with you 2 ways to actually test to see if the asymmetrical tonic neck reflex is present in your child. The first test is just to have the child stand facing you with their arms and hands straight out in front of them, and then ask the child to keep that position while turning their head to one side and then to the other side. So here's what should happen. They should be able to move only their head, not their arm. If their arm, one or the other, does move, then we need to implement an exercise to get the reflex retained. The second test that you can do, you can have the child go ahead and get down on their hands and knees like a cat with their head straight out and their face toward the floor. You're going to ask the child to look to one side and then to the other side while keeping their neck and arms straight. You are going to be looking for a bent arm again. If you see any of this present, you're going to want to do this exercise. So the exercise that you're going to implement is called the fencer exercise to help integrate the asymmetric tonic neck reflex. This one might take a little bit of practice to get it right, so just be patient. Have your child sit in a chair and turn his head to both sides or to one side so it still shows the reflex. As your child is turning his head, you're going to go ahead and have him extend the foot and the arm of the same side outward from the body and then look at his hand. Now the opposite hand should also open and the arm should flex and the other leg should bend. So you're going to have the child return to the starting position and then repeat it until the reflex is integrated, and you're going to repeat this about 3 times in a row. Another exercise that you can do is just simply have the child march in place and have their arms straight forward and their head turned to one direction, and do that for about 10 to 15 steps, and then have the child look in the other direction and do it for about 10 to 15 steps, and repeat this 5 times, a few times a day. Another exercise that you can do to help retain this reflex is just have the child lie on the floor, and I'm going to put up some pictures for you to see the 6 steps to this movement. So they're going to lie on the floor first with their arms and legs down on the floor, head turned to one direction, and then very, very slowly moving the arm and the leg up into an L position. And then they're going to turn their head in the opposite direction and bring the L positioned arm and leg back down into a straight position. Then they're going to bring the other arm and leg up into an L position, and then turn the head in the opposite direction and move the arm and leg back down into original position. Remember that the exercises need to be repeated in succession 5 to 10 times until the reflex is actually integrated. Frequency is always more important than intensity, so please make sure that you're doing it as frequently as possible and not as hard as possible. Remember, the movements need to be slow and purposeful and have the proper mindset. Remember, kids have bad days, parents have bad days, teachers have bad days. So if it is a bad day, skip it or wait until there is a proper mindset there. And then give it time. It will happen, but give yourself some grace and just give it some time to integrate. So thanks for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends. Maybe they can use it as well. Thank you for watching.